All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're exploring one of the biggest, most universal topics there is, our own mortality. But we're going to do it by looking through this amazing window, a huge, totally unfiltered online conversation where thousands of people shared what they really think and feel about it. It all kicked off with this one simple, incredibly direct question. I mean, it's a question we all think about, right? So before we go any further, just take a second. What's your honest answer to that?
And wow, did people answer. What we're about to look at isn't some dry academic study. It's real, it's raw, it's a genuine snapshot of how we all try to wrap our heads around the end. So let's see what people had to say.
And right out of the gate, you get a comment that it hits home for so many of us. This feeling of being completely petrified. It's not just one specific thing, it's the whole shebang. The how, the what comes after, all of it. A deep, gut-level anxiety.
But then, almost immediately, you see this other idea pop up, and it's a huge one. A distinction that came up again and again. For this person, the fear isn't about being gone. It's about the process of getting there.
And just to show you how complicated this all is, check this out. A completely different take, one that comes from a place of long-term struggle. It's a powerful reminder that how we feel about death is so tied to how we feel about life. For some, it's not scary. It's actually a kind of peace.
So this really brings us to the first major theme you see over and over in these comments. For a massive number of people, the real anxiety isn't about the state of being dead. It's about the process of dying.
Yep, there it is again, put so clearly. The fear is tied to things we already understand in life, right? Pain, suffering, losing control. It's the fear of that physical journey before the final moment.
I mean, could you say it any more directly? This comment just perfectly nails that distinction. It separates the destination from the journey, and it's a feeling that obviously thousands of people share. So just how many people felt that way? Well, it wasn't just a handful. That one comment we saw earlier, the one about being scared of how it happens, it got over 14,000 likes. That alone tells you just how common this feeling really is.
Okay, so after that, the conversation starts to shift to this whole other massive theme. For a lot of folks, the fear, it's not even about them. It's about the people they love and would have to leave behind.
It's like the fear turns inside out. It becomes this deeply empathetic thing. The question stops being, what's going to happen to me, and turns into, how are they going to get by without me? It's a fear that's really rooted in love.
And this is such a good point, because it flips the script. It's not just the fear of leaving. It's the absolute terror of being the one who's left behind. The fear of having your whole world just shattered when someone you love is gone.
And this is where it just gets you right in the gut. It stops being some big abstract idea and becomes incredibly specific. The thought of a daughter growing up without her parent, of not being there for all those moments. For so many people, this is where the fear really, really hurts.
All right, so let's get to the big one, the million-dollar question, right? Beyond the pain, beyond the people we love, there's that fundamental mystery. What happens next? What, if anything, is on the other side?
And you basically see people falling into two totally different camps here. On one side, you have the deep, chilling fear of, well, nothing, of just ceasing to exist. And on the other side, you have the incredible comfort that comes from faith and a certainty about what's to come. Wow. I mean, this person just puts words to that feeling so well. Existence is all I know. When you really stop and think about it, the idea of not being is almost impossible for our minds to even process, and that alien feeling is exactly what makes it so scary. And then, bam, you get the total opposite end of the spectrum. This isn't a statement of fear. It's one of absolute certainty. For this person, and so many like them, faith just erases the question mark. The destination is known, and that knowledge completely transforms fear into a sense of peace.
So you might be thinking this is all doom and gloom, right? But it's really not. A lot of people spoke from a place of real acceptance and even calm. So you have to wonder, where does that feeling of peace come from?
Well, some of the most, truly fascinating points of view came from this one specific group of people, those who've had a near-death experience. They've literally stood on the brink, and what they say about it is pretty incredible.
And you see these two amazing takeaways. For one person, the experience itself was peaceful, happy, even holy. It completely took the fear away. For another, it wasn't about the moment of dying, but about the lesson it taught them for living. respect death, don't fear it, and go live your life to the fullest.
And you know what? All of this kind of brings us full circle to maybe the most important point of the whole conversation. It turns out, for a lot of people, thinking about death is really just a way of figuring out how to truly live.
And that right there, that's a total game changer, isn't it? The fear isn't about no longer existing. It's about getting to the end and feeling regret. The fear of looking back and wishing you'd done more, loved more, been more. Suddenly, death isn't the enemy. It's the ultimate motivation.
And honestly, someone in the comments put it best by quoting the great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. This just reframes the entire topic. The real tragedy isn't that our lives end. The real tragedy is if we never truly start living them in the first place.
So, let's circle back to where we started, but let's flip the question. Instead of asking if death scares you, maybe the better question is this one. How does your view on death actually shape the way you live your life, right now, today? Now that's something to think about.